gentlemen, Marvin Burwell here. This one is a heavy one to get out in a short period of time. So let's dig in. We're talking about histamine response or allergy responses in your body. What is a histamine? A histamine is a chemical that is let out by white blood cells in your body known as mast cells and basophils. When you go to the doctor, they check your basophil level, and if the basophil level is heightened, then they know there can be an allergic response going on inside the body. But these both actually let out histamine when there's an allergen present in your body. What is an allergen in a simple form? An allergen is a type of protein that doesn't match well with your body. It's kind of like taking using a screwdriver to open the top on this jar. It's not the right tool for the job. They don't go together. Your body is made up of many proteins, but the foods you eat and the environments you come in contact with, sometimes you can breathe in or eat foreign proteins, and foreign proteins don't mesh well with your body, which can cause the white blood cells to come out, let out some histamine, and what histamine does is you have these little blood vessels called capillaries in your body. When you hit it with histamine, it's like a shirt that's knitted real tight. It can cause it to stretch so that the little holes in the stitching can open up and make it more porous, meaning more things can get into that capillary. Well, the things that need to get in is the white blood cells. So they spray it, it allows it to space out enough to get inside so that it can break down the offending protein into amino acids, and then it can either get rid of those things or it can break it down to a point where it can use these amino acids to build other proteins for your body. Now, histamine is related to histidine. Histidine is the name of one of those amino acids that are out there. There's a lot of different types, but this is the one mainly being broken down. And it's usually existing in things very high in nitrogen, which would be heavily protein-based food. So when you're eating the meats, especially things like fish can have a super histamine response because it's a high histamine food, especially if the fish spoils. It's really high to the point where it's toxic, and they have names for that as far as diseases, okay? So what are these two here? These two are enzymes, or enzymes are a type of protein made by your body or used by your body to perform a function. What function? Okay, we got Diamine Oxidase, or DAO, which is one of the supplements you can get for histamine intolerance, which is one of the problems you can get from a balance issue we're getting to in a minute. You have histamine N-methyltransferase. Notice I underlined the ASE in both because that's what lets me know they're enzymes. When the ASE is at the end of a word in the body, it's an enzyme, okay? Enzymes are types of proteins. These two proteins help you break down offending proteins that have entered that are high in nitrogen, usually containing histidine, okay? What are you having when you're having a histamine or allergy response? You're having an exposure response balance. Your body has a balance between what comes in and its ability to break it down and bring your body back into a normalized state. If you have an issue where there's a high amount of histamine and a high amount of problems in the body that can't be broken down, that's going to lead to a heightened allergy response. Allergy responses are equivalent to what I told you earlier. If the white blood cells will secrete or spit out histamine in order to open up your blood vessels, it makes your blood vessels more permeable, more liquid. White blood cells and all kinds of things can get in there, which comes to you as inflammation. On the skin, it could be itching, it could be pain, it could be redness, it could be swelling. When you have histamine responses in the nose, opening up those channels, more of the mucus comes in, and when that mucus hardens, you get a stuffed up sinus. When the capillaries and things inside the eye area open up, you get tearing. When you get some of the irritation from the proteins not matching up in your throat, then you can get an itchy throat or itchy ear canal. Feels like it's attached to the throat. It's kind of up in that area, right? So you have different types of responses you can get from what they call a histamine response to an allergen, okay? So what is it in general? It's a exposure response imbalance that you're having when you have an allergy. Too much of something that doesn't work well with your body is coming in versus the ability to get it out. If it's a small amount in and a small response, you may get a little itch. But in a big response, you might get a lot of swelling from all the stuff coming in, and it could cause anaphylaxis or closing of the breathing pathway, okay? So we got the white blood cells attached to histamine because they're the ones who let the histamine out. Some of the foods you eat can have high histamine in them, which can cause an imbalanced response. You have enzymes or proteins in your body that help you break down the offending protein or allergen, right, into amino acids to either be used for you or to get them out of your body altogether. But we know that histamine can be used to break down a primary amino acid called histidine or any other nitrogen-based substance that's heavy in your body that doesn't work well with the proteins in your body. So when you're getting supplements or things from the doctor or medications, it's trying to help rebalance you out, or it's trying to help remove something that's offending the problem. Now I have this honey here because, pollen is one of those allergens a lot of people talk about. Now we know bees pollinate, so they're interacting with plant life during the spring season and summer seasons. So when they're producing honey, they're basically going out into the world and experiencing something and creating a chemical product off of it. This is called pure raw wildflower honey. The darker, the more potent. So if the bees interact with nature and the trees and the pollen and the plants and the flowers and the leaves, then when they create something, it comes from that interaction. When you take this into your body from your local environment, because that's the pollen you're having the reaction to, then this may supply your body with the well-needed enough materials to bind to the offending allergen or things like that to train your body to be able to get rid of these things. It's either binding to it or it's giving your body necessary minerals and materials to help you get rid of the offending proteins. Okay? So that's histamine intolerance based on food, based on parts of the body, enzymes, proteins, and all that stuff. In a quick nutshell, I can give it to you. As you can tell, there's plenty more information to talk about. That should definitely get you going and understanding what's going on. So until next time, guys, take care.